Hey, it's me, Bobbert, and welcome to another podcast video. And today is going to be mostly about Sonic, about the games that's coming out this year, his past 3D games, and of course, the main focus of this topic, Sonic Frontiers. The video you're seeing right here is of Sonic Unleashed. A retrospective review is coming pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully that'll come out about next week after this video, give or take a few days. But anyways, on to the actual topic. Sonic Frontiers sounds like it's going to be the next big Sonic game. At least everybody's hyping it up to be, this great big, the greatest 3D Sonic games. I mean, it feels like a lot of people are really hoping that this can be Sega's Breath of the Wild, but at the same time, they're pretty cautious and, understandably so. Even I am very cautious about this game because this is a very big project. And, if you take a look at the Sonic games that came out within the 2010 to 2020, you can see that Sega doesn't really have a great track record. At least if you look at the 3D Sonic games. But before we get into that, let's talk about the games that are coming out in 2022, or at least that we know of. And Sonic Origins is pretty much a re-release of the classic Genesis game, and that's fine. I'm pretty sure it's going to stand out a little bit than the other re-releases of these Genesis games. So far we don't know what's going to be the big difference and why we should, buy another re-release or, another version of Sonic the Hedgehog, because pretty much you can get that game on any platform. And it makes me wonder, why doesn't Sega release the other 2D Sonic games, mainly the Sonic Advance series, which I think people would like that. I know I would. Or even the Sonic Rush games, Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure. Granted, those were DS games, and not every platform has touchscreen support. So that's probably a better idea to remake those games for current consoles and PCs. But that's just a little idea. But I think we can all agree that Sega should really focus on releasing those old games rather than just the Genesis title. But anyway, people are going to buy Sonic Origins no matter what. Maybe myself included, but again, I want to wait till some more news is released about it. But now let's go on to the past 3D Sonic games, starting in 2010. And well, I was going to stop at 2020, but this in the 2021, just for completeness' sake, this isn't every Sonic game or even 3D Sonic games, but if you look back at the old 3D Sonic games, in 2010 they released Sonic Colors, which it was actually pretty good, in its time, the Wii version, and of course there's a DS version, but the Nintendo Wii version gave people a lot of hope, even though people still had some complaints about it back then. People thought that, Sega and Sonic are making a comeback, especially when, Sonic Unleashed, not the Rail Hog, as you can see here, even though the boss battles are pretty fun, as it's seen right now, but the boost formula where it first originated from was pretty fun, and Sonic Colors kind of built off that a little bit, even though there were some sacrifices here and there, being it's on a weaker platform. I used to compare it to the Wii version of Sonic Unleashed, which then a complete upgrade for the most part. And then Sonic Generation, which is also a great follow-up, but gameplay-wise is pretty good. Story-wise, it kind of took a downturn. I mean, even in Sonic Curse, it was kind of down, mostly too comedic, but it was still a decent adventure. While Sonic Generation, it felt like it never really got going. I mean, it started with them being kidnapped, and it felt like it never really actually progressed, or there weren't really a decent climax, in between, except for the end. And then Sonic Lost World was the first 3D Sonic game without the speed boost during that time. I haven't played Sonic Lost World for a while. I sold my copy, with my reuse and edit game to get Nintendo Switch. Hopefully they can re-release that game on Nintendo Switch. I want to give that game another try, but I remember being hit or miss. Like, I like the idea, it's just that the execution didn't work pretty well, especially in the 2D section where you can't really go too fast. And it's not that it doesn't have a boost or anything, it's just that the game doesn't have any momentum. Like, every time you try to go pretty fast, from platform to platform, it feels like there's something, holding Sonic back. Like, it slows you down, preventing you to go from going too fast. But, Sonic Lost World was probably the first misstep in the 3D Sonic game. And then Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, that one was a complete mess. The best I can say for that game is that the story was alright. Let's go back in Sonic Lost World for a little bit. That story, well, I think it's mediocre. I was going to say decent, but that's too generous. I didn't really hate it. It's just, it's just a basic Sonic plot. Really, kind of, that's when I feel like Sonic stories was becoming a bit more like Mario. And Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. I thought the story was okay, decent comedy and I guess drama, or some feeling of adventure, progression. The story is the one thing I will slightly defend Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, but everything else is just too repetitive and boring. Would I consider Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric another 06? Yeah. If we're going with fan reactions, sure, but even though I like Sonic 06 better because it's more fun despite being more broken as well, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is not that broken of a game, but at the same time it's very boring and mediocre, and I wouldn't go back to that game ever. And then 2017 Sonic Forces. I think this when I felt pretty disappointed about a Sonic game. I mean, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, I guess I was disappointed, but at the same time, I was still pretty cautious, and wonder if that the game idea would be very well executed. Sorry if I'm kind of pausing it, but I'm doing this mostly without a script. But with Sonic Forces, I thought, hey, they're going back to the boost formula. They're taking this, they're taking the time with this game. I mean, at worst, it probably, be a decent game, but probably not the best in the boost formula. But I thought it was going to be a pretty solid game. But man, it was kind of a mess. I mean, again, not very broken. It's very mediocre. It feels like the game doesn't really get going. Story was a bit all over the place. I mean, didn't get to fight Perfect Chaos or Shadow the Hedgehog or the fake Shadow the Hedgehog. I mean, not that would make the game any better or anything. It's just that they kind of tease us with that, and they didn't deliver on that on any way. Characters was kind of pretty useless, especially Tails, who I feel like is pretty out of character. It felt like they forgot what makes a Sonic game, both story-wise and gameplay-wise. And, with a recent release of Sonic Curse in 2021, I mean, I think they fixed some of the bugs in the game. There was an update patch, so I'm pretty sure it's in much better condition. And to be fair, I don't think it's that bad of a game that people made it out to be, even when the first release. But seeing all these glitches and mess, do you see why I have concerns about Sonic Frontier, which is not only another 3D Sonic game, but probably the biggest game that they're ever going to release in a while? Like, all these games I mentioned before, with the exception of Sonic Curse for the Wii, Sonic Generations, and I think even Sonic Lost World and Sonic Boom, they were full price games, while the other games from Sonic Forces and Sonic Curse Ultimate, and even some of the spin-off games like Team Sonic Racing, that's also pretty mediocre and boring. They were like $30 to $40 games, games at a discount. But even then, even for that price, it was still a disappointing experience. And Sonic Frontier being, their version of Breath of the Wild, it's, got me really worried. And, if Sega does this right, it seems like they've been doing their best to try to make it the best game as possible. And, if this goes over pretty well, it could give people hope in Sonic Team, and Sega making decent 3D Sonic games. And especially with a game like this, it can open up some great possibilities, in my opinion. I mean, the story is being worked on Ian Friend, worked by Ian Friend, who does the IDW Sonic the Hedgehog comics, and those are pretty good. Hopefully, telling the story in a video game and telling the story in a novel are two completely different things. I mean, not only you have to make sure that the story is good, but it also has to fit into in between the gameplays and the other stuff. So, but that's the one thing I have faith in, is that Ian Friend would deliver a much better story than Sonic Forces or Sonic Lost World. But if this game, I'm assuming Sonic is the only playable character here, and if that game does pretty good, if Sonic plays pretty well, and everybody wants a sequel to this game, then this could bring back supporting characters having a bigger spotlight. Like, you probably what I recommend doing is starting out small and pick characters that play similar to Sonic, with and giving them different abilities that separates them. Shadow is obviously the obvious pick for the next playable character. And personally, I also choose Blaze the Cat, who's also a pretty fast character. And I guess the question is how you look at characters like Knuckles, Amy, and Tails. Well, Knuckles could be pretty easy. Of course, he won't be as fast as Sonic, but with his gliding ability, he can travel, areas very easily. Tails, he can fly for a bit, maybe even use this airplane in some missions, or like have a little stamina or gas meter, so you have some limitation there. Amy's in the others. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure how you could fit an Amy in there, but still, I think an open world Sonic game is probably the biggest risk, and if it goes pretty well, the biggest reward that Sonic Team could ever do. But even if an open world Sonic game is still successful, they still need to work on small titles, like the 2D titles, whether it be a sequel to Sonic Mania, or maybe it's just another 2D Sonic game in general, which is fine. Smaller 3D titles, like maybe get another studio to make the Boost game, hopefully a better studio, or even just experiment on a smaller 3D title, or even, experiment on an adventure style title, whether it be a remake of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 or a direct sequel. And of course, if you have they can still make the other spin-off, like the racing game, sports games, maybe even puzzles, or whatever ideas to come up, whether it makes sense or be pretty crazy like this open world game that they come up with. But all I can really say right now is that I feel like Sonic Frontier needs to be good. I mean, will the Sonic franchise die because of a bad Sonic Frontier game? No, they still got the 2D titles. They still got, the fan base that will never give up on Sonic no matter how many times they complain. And I guess that includes me in some ways. But I do feel like if this game fails, then I think people will just give up on 3D Sonic, like, eventually. And the only way to bring them back would be, making Sonic Adventure 3, and even then they'll be pretty cautious about it. So, I don't know, it's just Sonic Frontiers needs to be good. Sonic feels like he's been not his best. I mean, other than Sonic Mania that came out in 2017, Sonic Forces was a disappointment. Sonic Colors Ultimate is supposed to be like an easy layup for them, and even they messed that up. So, even though that wasn't developed by Sonic Team in general, Sonic Colors Ultimate, it still feels like that should have been like an easy win for them. And Team Sonic Racing and maybe some of the other games that I'm not thinking of is probably, it was mediocre, Team Sonic Racing. And I'm sorry if I keep repeating myself. It's just that the point is Sonic Frontier needs to succeed, in my opinion. And I think I'll just end the podcast there, because that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you for listening to my rambling. Sonic Unleashed retrospective review is coming out pretty soon, hopefully within a week. So stay tuned for that. This is me, Bobbert, and I'll catch you guys later.